Hey guys, DC Toyman again. Thanks again for watching this video. And another shout out to some of my Google Plus followers, Paulino Carvajal and Thiago Castanera. Thanks again for following me. Thanks again for watching this video. So this figure that we have here is the Sinestro Core Sinestro from the DC Universe Classics Wave 20. His only accessory that I've found is the yellow lantern, and he also came with the head of Necron, which I bought this loose on the internet, so that head was missing. I wish that this figure came with a construct, but this is a pretty nice lantern. But I also saw that the Sinestro Core Batman figure comes with a construct, so I wish that this one did have a construct. I like, again, the lantern. I like that it has a hinge and it moves. I like this model overall. Yeah, I like his physique. He's kind of thin. He's not a bodybuilder, so it fits his character. It's also very well articulated, and I'm starting to learn some of these terms. He has a ball jointed neck, which looks every direction except for up. He has ball jointed shoulders, elbows, swivel wrists, and he has swivel biceps so he can show off his guns. He has a swivel waist and an upper torso. He has swivel ankles and knees, swivel thighs, and double jointed hips. So again, this is one of those Mattel figures, DC Universe Classics, that's very posable, and I definitely like that about this character, about this figure. The only complaint that I have, and I've seen it elsewhere too, and I've made this complaint about other figures, is that the boots are just painted on. Again, it's just kind of taking a shortcut when you're almost there. They have the mold. I've heard that they have the mold from some of the previous figures for Mattel, so I don't know why they couldn't just make the mold of the boots and make them a little bit pop out, like literally make them a little bit more textured. That would have really helped this figure. Now, Sinestro's first appearance was in Green Lantern Volume 2, number 7. In August of 1961. He's usually depicted as being red or magenta with purplish skin, depending on the artist. He has this elongated forehead, and he has these elfin ears, which a lot of the other people from Korugar are not necessarily depicted with these two traits. So he's kind of unique even amongst his own people for that reason. Sinestro, from what I'm finding, comes from the Latin sinistra, which is sinister or left-handed, which is why he's often depicted left-handed. He has his ring on his left hand, if you notice, and he's holding this in his right hand, so he's, this figure is left-handed. His abilities come from the Power Ring, and he's a former Green Lantern, but now he's a Yellow Lantern. He's leader of the Sinestro Corps. So he has the same powers as the Green Lanterns, with flight and invulnerability and hard light constructs, but he also knows people's innate fears, which helps fuel his power ring, his yellow power ring. He's also an expert hand-to-hand combatant, and that's not often brought to light. Some of the major storylines recently have been Forever Evil from the New 52, and in that he kills Power Ring from the Crime Syndicate, which is Green Lantern's analog, villain analog. And Batman uses his Sinestro's yellow ring, but he tells Batman not to resist using fear because it will give him power that he is ironically afraid to wield. He also mentions Hal Jordan in Forever Evil. Hal Jordan is missing. He's trying to train he's talking to some of the other Green Lantern Corps. He's missing from action. He's in another sector, and Sinestro comments that true leaders don't poll their lanterns and tally votes. They take responsibility for the hard decisions they make. They put the burden on their shoulders, and that sentiment doesn't to me, it doesn't sound outright evil. It's just a different perspective. Sinestro is doing what he feels is right, and he feels as a leader you take responsibility and let the chips fall where they may. In the previous to that, to the New 52, there was the Sinestro Corps War, which is where we're getting this outfit from, this version of his character. And of course he creates his own corps using yellow rings to combat the Green Lanterns. And in this series, the Guardians authorize the Green Lanterns to use lethal force, which is, Sinestro claims that was his goal all along, to force the Green Lantern Corps to make changes. In the Justice miniseries, the Alex Ross miniseries, Sinestro ambushes Green Lantern and he teleports Green Lantern to the end of the universe where he cannot escape, and he's forced to be transformed into pure energy and stores himself inside his ring so that he won't die when his Green Lantern ring runs out of energy. In the New 52, the Guardians initially give Sinestro his Green Lantern ring back, and they restore him to the Corps. He returns to Korugar, where the people still fear him, and he helps unseat his Sinestro Corps members from power there. I haven't read much further than that, but apparently he later reinstates the Sinestro Corps, and he kills the Guardians. His nemeses include Hal Jordan, mainly. Sinestro had originally trained Hal Jordan like Abin Sur trained Sinestro, and he and Hal were actually friends for a short while there. Sinestro and Hal Jordan were friends, and Sinestro saw a lot of himself in Hal Jordan, which is why he took it upon himself to, even though the Guardians had him train Hal Jordan, he kind of took it upon himself to train Jordan because he saw so much of himself. In movies and TV, Sinestro was in the 2007 Green Lantern movie. It wasn't a terrible movie in my opinion. It was lopsided. Definitely the end was a lot different than the beginning. The first half had a different feel than the second half. But Sinestro has mostly been in animated shows and movies. He was in Super Friends, Superman the animated series, Justice League, Green Lantern the animated series, Static Shock, the Batman Brave and the Bold. So it's mostly animated stuff that he's been in. What I like about his character and his characterization is that DC makes him a little bit more sympathetic, or at least you can kind of understand what he's going through. He feels he's doing the right thing to save his homeworld, but people from the outside, like Hal Jordan, see it as, he's just ruling his homeworld with fear. He has egomaniacal, egocentric tendency, and that's kind of his character flaw. He definitely wants to control everything, and that's kind of his motivation. But he sees it as, controlling things on his homeworld helped eliminate disease and war, and he thinks it makes his people safer. This figure overall, I would probably give, I guess, a B+ due to the boots. It would have been a lot higher, but those boots are taking it down a notch. Otherwise, it's a great figure. Good paint job. Despite that, I didn't see this little paint on his boot when I bought it online, but good job, good paint, good model, good head. The face is really well done. Good paint job, good model, good articulation. It's just overall a good representation of his character.